know, but it is what it is. Hope everybody's having themselves a great day on today. Beautiful day here in the Carolinas. I think I'm gonna just make a U-turn here. Talk to y'all in just a second. Let me get to where I need to get to. We got a little ride we gotta take. All right, bada boom, bada bang, tight U-turn, and Bolo, what's going on, brother? Hope all is well. I've got to get a better angle. Um, Let me see. I don't think that angle's gonna be good. Well, no, that's not a good angle. So you guys have to look at my ugly mug. I didn't put no wax on this morning or nothing. So we just kind of wow. Um, Late start. I was supposed to be gone. Oh gosh, 2, 3 hours ago. But it is what it is, and I've come to understand, accept, go along with whatever you want to call it. The fact that some stuff just is what it is, and you know, and we've got to learn to just go along with it. Everything happens for a reason too, and so we're just making a short trip up the road. I've got a 3-hour ride to get to West Virginia, and I'll be up there for a couple of days for a men's retreat. So I'm actually going to kind of recoup, recover, replenish, um, hear from God, receive from the Lord. It's a group of brothers. Some are pastors and ministers and apostles and so on and so forth. Different positions in the Lord's church. And and so we're going to head up here and fellowship for the weekend. Because listen to me, let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, saints and saints, everybody, especially Lottie Dottie. When you are constantly pouring out, you need to be poured into as well. And if you don't take time to take care of you, nobody else will. And there have been many moments from the time I was invited to this retreat till now that I contemplated not going, not making it for different reasons. And but the reality is, as I said, man, when you are constantly pouring out and constantly being pulled on in so many different directions, you got to take time for you. And so this weekend is that. I am not only expecting, but I'm anticipating something greater than I can imagine. And the reason why I am anticipating something greater than I can imagine is because the word of the Lord backs such a mindset up. It tells us that He can do exceeding abundantly, above all we're able to ask or even think. So, with that said and done, a lot of times I try not to put any limits on God. I want to encourage somebody today that's watching not to put any limits on God. Remove even your own ideologies and beliefs and religious upbringings. You know, remove all of that stuff. Let me tell you something, guys. I was brought up, and I am apostolic in as it relates to my faith, right? But years ago, many years ago, there was a man of a different faith, a different background, if you will, that blessed me tremendously. And God has used people down through the years from different walks of life who don't even believe what I believe, who don't walk the same walk that I walk, but God has used them. And the reality is, if you put God in a box, then you'll only be able to receive from God from that box. And God is greater than a box. He's so much greater than a box, man. Um, and I see so many people because of their religious beliefs, their religious upbringing, uh, shutting out opportunity for God to be bigger than the God that they know. I'll say it. And so we must take the limits off God, and that is applicable across the board. That relates to everything in life. Take the limits off God, and so I am anticipating something greater than I can imagine, and I believe that what I'm going to receive on this weekend, not only will it be greater than I can imagine, but it will far supersede where I am right now. Oh boy! In other words, what you have to understand, folks, that sometimes because of where we are, we can't see beyond where we are. We can't exercise faith beyond where we are. Our faith is limited based on the struggle, the stress, the strain, whatever the case may be. But what God is going to do on this weekend is going to far supersede where I am right now. The psalmist said it this way, and I love the way he summed it up. He said, "It is good for me that I was afflicted." Yeah, checking my charge. Didn't look like it was charging. He said, "It is good for me that I was afflicted." Now, what you got to understand is, he finally came to the conclusion later on that what had happened previously was working for his good. It was good. And so let's just say you're going through a trial, tribulation, or whatever the case may be right now, and it don't feel good, it don't look good, it ain't good. Everything is falling to pieces, everything is falling apart, and you don't know what to do. You're about to lose your mind, you know. And so, yeah, it's not good, and you can't see the good in what's transpiring right now. But if you would just hold on, if you would just make it through this day, you'll see that even though you couldn't see it right then, it did work for your good, you know. And, you know, very familiar passage of Scripture. Tribulation worketh patience, patience experience, experience hope, and hope maketh not ashamed. Some of us can't see beyond where we are right now because we're too impatient. I've been in this too long, Lord. You got to move. And if you don't move right now, then, then we perceive it as though he has rejected us, denied us, or abandoned us. And that is so far from the truth. You know, when you look at people in the Bible like Joseph, who did nothing wrong, he was loved by his father. And as a matter of fact, it was the love that his father showed toward him that created a lot of his problems. So he didn't have anything to do with it, but yet still he had to suffer it. Finds himself in a pit, then sold into slavery, then he finds himself in prison. And, you know, it's just, man, one thing after another, it seems. Things turn around and start looking up, and then there he is again, back in prison. You know, it's just roller coaster ride. But it worked for his good. Joseph was a man who exercised wisdom, the ability to decipher, the ability to discern, and the ability to lead, you know. And but Joseph had to go through some things, and through that process, he even learned forgiveness. Oh my goodness, yeah. I think Joseph, when he saw his brothers, he thought he thought he was over it by then. But when he saw them, it triggered the trauma of what he experienced because of them. And he wanted to get even. He wanted them to hurt the way he hurt it. And I tell people all the time, hurting people hurt people. Hurt people help heal people. Yeah. When you've been hurt and you're no longer hurting, yeah, God can use you. But if you're actively hurting, God can't use you. You're going to infect those that you come in contact with. Because hurting people hurt people. And so some of us, we lack the patience necessary. And God allows us to stay in that thing a little longer so we can begin to see things the right way. Anyway, ladies to hop on and say what's up. It's Friday here, and hope everybody has a great weekend. I've been somewhat, not really MIA, but I haven't been as busy on social media, whether YouTube or Facebook or the Gram or TikTok. I'm still posting here and there, but I'm just not, as active uh, for personal reasons. And sometimes you gotta put some things on pause so that you can get some other things accomplished and sorted out and dealt with and so on and so forth. And if you don't know that, then you're gonna be in trouble. Not everybody nor everything deserves your attention all the time. I'm just saying, somebody ought to catch that. And we'll leave that alone. But anyway, I may or may not hop back on later. Like I said, I am 2, 3 hours late leaving, and so I'm gonna get off of this phone so I can focus on the road and kind of expedite this ride, if you will. And hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining. But anyway, if you have not already subscribed, if you just come across this content by accident, we would love for you to subscribe. The button is right there at the bottom of your screen, depending on what you're viewing from. And we would love for you to go ahead and subscribe and follow us. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that. We are in the process of putting together some local stuff here in the Mooresville, Statesville, North Carolina area. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that information. Uh, we are also planning our annual Genesis ride, which is our first ride of the year. Every year, January 1st, we launch out on our first ride, Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. We call it the Genesis Ride, which usually consists of about a 45-minute to an hour-long ride. We usually make sure we break it up, some back roads, some little city riding, not so much city riding, more so back roads, and we usually touch the highway a little bit. This year, I'm not so sure about the highway, but we do have a very interesting ride planned, and we're going to be ending at one of the local eateries, and we'll be talking more about that. We're also going to have the owners of that restaurant on the Retro Philosophy Show here soon. That way you guys can hear from the horse's mouth about that restaurant, about their food, about their agenda. And so we're going to be doing that. Thank you, baby girl. My wife is watching. She says safe travel. Thank you, babe. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We want to make sure we put it out there. That way, if someone was interested in, coming down for the New Year's ride, you would have ample time to plan that. I don't know, maybe you're coming from the north. Yeah, depending on where you're coming from, you may have to be careful with the weather. But typically here in the Carolinas, we normally always get a beautiful day to ride. Might get a little chill, but normally no snow that time of year. Of course, anything's possible, but we will ride regardless of what. There is no rain date. It is the Genesis ride, first ride of the year, and we want to invite you to come out and ride with us. If you're looking for a good Christian group to ride with, a good group of just mature individuals, we're not going to be out there showboating or hot rodding or nothing like that. We're going to do the speed limit and just enjoy the ride. And when we get to the restaurant, the way we do it is of course, we greet all of our guests and friends that came out to ride with us, and then we do a recap. So we'll do a recap of 2024, and this year's recap is going to be, there's a lot to cover because so much transpired in 2024 for Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry on so many levels. So we'll talk extensively about some of those highlights, and we experienced one of the most difficult things I could have imagined in 2024. and we experienced it at a height. I mean, we were at a place where things were going so well, and then all of a sudden. So we'll discuss that during the recap, and then we'll cast vision for 2025, sharing with those in attendance what the Lord has laid on our heart and showed us for 2025. So that's a very important moment for me. We're not just here to ride motorcycles, but we're here to do the Lord's business, and so we're serious about it, which is another reason why we understand. He said, "Think it not strange concerning the fiery trials that have come to try you, as though some strange thing has happened unto you." So even though we have experienced some difficult moments in 2024, we also understand the reason for that. When you have a group that is named Kingdom Alignment, come on now. So, and that's what it's all about, doing the Lord's work and the effort of realigning the kingdom of God. And so we've got much work to do. If you're watching and you're said, man, motorcycle ministry, first of all, if you've never heard of motorcycle ministry before, let me know in the comment section. It still amazes me when I talk to different people that they are amazed or, I don't really want to say dumbfounded, but so let me just say it this way, that they've never heard of a motorcycle ministry. And so that means we've got a whole lot of work to do collectively, not just Kingdom Alignment, but all my other brothers and sisters out there who are doing motorcycle ministry. And we'll talk about this during the recap, but a lot of times when we were talking with different people, whether it be on the set or just on ground, the recurring question would always come up a lot of times, what club are you a part of? And of course, we're not a part of a club. We're a motorcycle ministry. And so, thank you, Bolo. Thank you, sir. And so that became a problem, that it was easily misconstrued that we were a club. So we wanted to do something to change that, and so we did. And we'll talk more about that later. I'm pleased with the turnout, or I should say I'm pleased with the way it turned out as it relates to what we did to change that. And again, we'll probably do a whole show dedicated to that, what we did and why we did what we did. We certainly are going to talk about it during the recap during the Genesis ride, January 1. So put it on your calendar and come down and ride with us. Bring the new year in, riding with like-minded individuals, believers in Christ, and instead of just going out there just riding just to ride. I believe 2025 must be a year of purpose. It must be a year of calculated, strategic moves. 2025 cannot be a year to do things just to do things. And I've already said enough. If you want to hear any more, join us for the Genesis ride when we share in its entirety what the Lord has laid on our hearts for 2025. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for pressing play. I'm going to go ahead and make it do what it do. Y'all keep me lifted in your prayers. It's not a long ride at all by any means. Just heading up to West Virginia for the weekend. But any ride is a ride that is needed. Any ride is a ride that prayer is needed. I don't care if you're just going to the 7-Eleven. You need to pray when you throw your leg over that bike, or before you throw your leg over that bike, or as you throw that leg over that bike, and while you're riding on that bike. Yeah, you ought to pray. And so you pray for me, and I'll pray for you. I'm hungry. I am though. I can't stop because I've already left way too late. So I'm gonna just make a beeline for where I got to get to, and we'll talk with you guys soon.